Hi there, if you're enjoying the content on my channel, please like and subscribe and join me on my further repair adventures. Thank you. Well, as this is a car that we know likes to keep on giving, there's something definitely going on here with the brake disc. I can feel a big lip on here. Okay, so I've inspected this just out of curiosity. I now have a brake conundrum because you'd assume that these were not working, so the sliders work. This is alright, this is alright, so none of these are stuck. I can't imagine the pistons are stuck, otherwise the brakes wouldn't work. Or it would be binding or pulling, which is why I haven't even thought or noticed this. But we've still got this like disparity. But the actual inner pad, weirdly, that's thinner, that's thicker, that's thinner. They don't appear to have been wearing particularly oddly. So it says on here in quite hard to read writing, minimum thickness 27mm. Kind of looking pretty close to the limit there. So from my perspective, I think I probably should just do them while I've got the vehicle jacked up and I've been doing other stuff to it. I like the Brembo brake stuff. It's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive. Really good deal on these. And I also like the brake pads that they do because they come with everything. So when you open them up, let's have a look what we've got inside. So we've got some instructions if you really need them. But what they do come with is new caliper bolts, which is excellent. These stainless steel slider things, which is good as well if you want to replace those, and then just nice good quality brake pads with you know, like the anti-squeal shim on it. So they're just nice quality. I like them. Maybe other people have got other opinions, but that's what I'm going to use for this job. So when you're replacing brake discs, you have to do both sides at once. You can't just do one side. So let's get the caliper off. I usually just take the bottom bolt out first and then the top one, and then you just got to slide the caliper out. Should be relatively easy. If it's really stiff, you can pull it backwards and forwards and it should release the pistons. If you've got a seized piston, you're probably going to need to lever it with a screwdriver or a pry bar or something. So initially, I'm just going to pop this gently on top. That looks a bit awkward, but it just gets it out of the way. I've got to be careful, of course. We've got wheel speed sensor and that. I'm going to hang this up in a minute and then that's hung up and out of the way. So once you've got it off, you've basically got two pads, disc pads. I mean, these aren't worn out, but they've been replaced a few times, you know, in the history of the vehicle, so they're just not worn out ones. And then we can inspect those, of course. We're going to take that out. We'll have a look and we will inspect the disc. So you just want to take these out, really. They should be, because I lube my brakes, they should be pretty easy to take out. But if you've not done anything for a long time, they will be hard to take out. That's interesting that that's slightly catching in there. So that's not brilliant, but we'll work on it. Take those out, put them somewhere safe. These are those stainless steel carrier things. So because they come in the kit, I'm going to replace them. But that one's pretty sort of shot now. If you're kind of servicing yearly, you just take these off and clean them. There, because they're stainless steel, you wire brush them up. You know, give them a good clean. They come up nicely. Then you're left with the carrier. The other thing to check is, are these moving in and out very freely? Oh yes, they are, and they rotate and they don't cause a friction problem or anything, so they're fine. The sliders can also seize, so in this case we're all good. Right, so once you've got that off, you can actually remove the disc. Voila, one disc removed. Just give this a bit of a clean up. Make sure you've got various things like brake cleaner on you. Just quick inspection. So it's kind of the inner pad that's worn in a sort of weird way, really. It's got a bigger lip on the kind of like, I don't know whether it's just to do with the inside of the discs wear out more quickly, in the sense of they get more rubbish in them, or whether these discs are made a certain way. I mean, they're pretty corroded, as you can see. There's a lot of flaky off inside. looking pretty corroded. So it's not going to hurt to replace them. I keep saying that again and again. When I put them back on last time, I did put a little bit of copper grease on it just to make sure that, you know, maybe when they had to be replaced again, they would come off easily. Just use a very small amount, otherwise it is going to contaminate everything. And then we're going to look at this. This is just not too bad. It's a cast iron thing. So, and this is the brake side of carrier thing. So these are good. We said that already. And I will just double check everything is happy. And one good thing when you've got these off the vehicle is that you can give them a good clean out with a wire brush. They get a bit corroded in these channels where the brake sliders, these kind of sit. So just to get them nice and clean so they're ready to receive the new parts. And then we will start probably reassembling. The other side, the only difference on my car, so this is the passenger side in the UK, so it's left side. This is the brake pad wear sensor, so it's only on this side. If that is damaged or breaks when you take it off, you've got to replace it, and it goes all the way up inside, right on into here and behind this. And unfortunately, the only way to get under there is to take the wheel arch trim off, and then you have to take the wheel arch liner out, which is a bit of a pain, but you know, it's one of those things. So I know this comes off because I've done it, but it should just, when they're okay and they're not really worn out, they just wiggle. You wiggle them off and they come off. They've got a little sort of brass clip in them, and then that can be put to one side. Just decided to take the pins out and have a look, so they're okay. It's a little bit mucky inside on these, so I'm just going to probably blast them out with a bit of brake cleaner, and then I'll apply some LM grease type stuff to them, and then put them back in and make sure they can slide nice and freely. But they're okay, they're just a little bit dirty on the inside. So okay, I think I've solved the mystery of the disc thicknesses. What I've discovered is that when I get to the edge of the disc, if I can get right up to the top, that's like 9.1 and this one's 10.1, so they're like about a millimetre difference. So that would be the reason why we're getting that kind of difference of wear, and when I looked at them they looked off. But I think because they were at the end of their lives, it just exaggerated the difference. Who'd have known, unless you'd really bothered to look. And obviously I'm a bit more observational than I used to be and noticed it. Okay, so I slightly cheated. I've done one side already, and that's what it looks like. So just a note, before you push in pistons and things, make sure your fluid reservoir is correct. I had to take some fluid out because I pushed those pistons back in, and obviously it's pushed brake fluid back up into the reservoir. So just be careful, you don't want it coming out of there, because it's horrible stuff, brake fluid, and it does loads of damage. So at this stage where we've got everything taken off, I haven't really done anything further, but what we'll do is we'll give it a bit of a clean, then we'll clean around the caliper as well, clean pistons, just get everything ready, clean it up. Then we're going to put the carrier back on, and then just sort of work our way around every, you know, all the jobs that need sorting out. Not very exciting, but required really to just get everything into a nicer condition. So I'm going to be very sparing when I put the disc back on. I'm only going to use a little bit of copper slip just so that it doesn't seize on, otherwise it does make them hard to remove. So when you're ready, you're going to get your new disc, which is all nice and pristine, and then we've got to line it up. So there's a screw hole there for the little Torx screw to hold it on. You just have to line it up carefully with your studs, make sure that it's in the right position. It should slide on pretty easily without a lot of force, in the sense that this time it'll probably be a little bit sort of slack. Make sure that your screw's all right, that's got to go back in. I'm just going to put a little bit of fresh copper slip on the thread of this, just so that it's going to come out in the future. Just going to get this chappy put in. Just give it a little kick with my impact gun on its minimum setting. It doesn't have to be very tight, just so that it's holding the disc correctly in place. What I've done as well is I've turn the steering wheel so everything's out, so that I can get the torque wrench in. Should have done it earlier when I was taking it off, but there's been a bit of a muppet about it. And then we've got this, so this has got to go on back around this way with my cleaned up bolts. No copper slip on these, otherwise you can't torque them. They've got to go to quite a high torque, which I'll tell you in a minute. But obviously you're going to be putting copper slip on things, it changes the friction, and then you'll over torque them and it will cause a problem. And you don't want a problem on your brakes, because if bits fall off of your brakes, you're probably going to start crying pretty quickly. I'll just give these a little turn with the breaker bar, just to get them started so that they're not too far off. Right. And then we're going to go to the torque wrench. So you set your torque wrench to 275 Newton meters or 203 pound-feet. And then that is the correct torque for these. So I told you they were tight, but not mega crazy, but just quite a lot tighter than a lot of things. Let's see if we can get it to click for us. Ready? Click. Nice, nice. Click, click. There you go. One last check. Click. Nice. So that's done. So with the caliper, we need to wind it back, and it should be relatively easy. So I've just got these sort of nav clamp things, and I'm hoping these will do it. Did it on the other side without too much hassle. This is, I think, an older caliper, but I'm not aware that it's broken or not working. You then need another clamp to do the other side, or the what happens is that when you do it, the other cylinder will push itself up as you push the other one down, which is a bit like a sort of Laurel and Hardy sketch when you first realise, until you first realise that you've done that. Again, not the most exciting of things to do, but you do need to do it. Otherwise, new pads are hard to fit. And I'm just going to turn the camera off while I clean all this out. So you're just going to clean it all out on the surfaces and make sure it's all nice and clean. Then we'll continue again. So we've got our nice Brembo brake pads in here. Got our two brake pads, new ones. Got our brake pad carrier that are going to sit into these top and bottom, and then we've got nuts that are already, or bolts rather, that are already got thread lock on. It's just such a nice kit. I'm not advertising for them, but I do like it, and I do like the Brembo stuff. It seems like it's nice quality. So what I usually do with these is put a little bit of copper slip on these fellas, and then get on the top as well. Make sure you're not rushing it onto the discs. These slot in, so they've got these like wide bits, and then the lip bit here goes on there, so you know that they're in. So I'm just going to dab these with a little bit of copper slip as well, just to make sure that everything's just got a bit of lubrication so it can move around and not be too static. There are little lugs on it, so it should locate into the centre, and it pushes in. And they're usually a bit springy, so they've got a bit of spring in them. So they're going to just hold the brake pads in so they don't make horrible noises. Make sure they're not touching anything, and they're in correct position. I'm going to do it to the other one at the top. Same procedure. Again, you've got to get it in the middle where the lugs are, and then just make sure it pops in. Make sure it's in nicely. You're really happy with it. Before I start installing the pads, I'm just going to make sure the brake discs are actually clean. Obviously, you don't want to contaminate the brake discs, you know, and then fit pads onto them, because it kind of defeats the whole purpose, really. And then on the back, it's a little bit harder because it's concealed, but just spray. and then rotate the disc. Make sure that you've got it clean. I was taken to using this kind of stuff, which is like a non-ceramic metal-free lubricant. Just seems a bit less messy and getting everywhere than copper slip does. Brake pad's only going to go one way round, so they have to follow the shape of the disc, which obviously is that. You just have to sort of manipulate them in. Come on, you know you want to. What's that? Once they're in. Right, obviously you've got it in, but make sure they're not like jammed or anything and that they can move. Obviously they need to be stiff, but make sure they can move. So that can move, and that's good. And we're going to just repeat that for the other side. Ow. Okay, almost done without causing any serious injuries. Right, so once you've got those in, you then need your caliper back. Okay, similar thing again. So I'll put some nice lubrication pistons so that they've got something to stop them from getting too corroded and stuck onto the back of the brake pads. The nice thing about it is when you push in the pistons, it's really easy to get the caliper back because we have got the pistons all the way in, so it should just slot over the top without really causing any issues. Just do that for a sec, rest it very carefully, and then got a nice new bolts to go in. I'll just choose which one you want to do first. It can be a bit fun to find the starting point. And the top one. That's good, they're in. I'm going to just use my spanner again. I've got my random thinner spanner that can just hopefully stop that from spinning. Get that one up. I'm going to do this one. And get back so you can actually see. Okay. Just reversal of fitting, really. Nothing scientific. Just got to make sure that you don't forget. Just a bit spinning around. I usually just do these up sort of hand tight because they don't need a lot of torque. There you go. Nice and tight. Make sure your caliper's able to slide around. It's not restricted, and there we have it. We've kind of refitted it basically. Double check everything. I'll probably have to go and just drain out a bit of brake fluid from the reservoir. Just have a little look at the brake fluid reservoir. We're just above the maximum line, so what I'll probably do, take a teeny weeny bit out, but I'll probably push the brake pedal down a few times just to get it to compress in. You can see that's closed in on itself. It'll probably be nice and tight now actually, the brake generally, because I've just pushed it in on itself. It needs to wear in. So what you've got to do is drive around for a bit. I think it takes about 100 miles of driving to bed in brakes properly. You'll be able to tell pretty quickly if there's a problem, but the new discs will feel a little bit less powerful to start with for a little bit, just because they've got to bed in and the new pads need to bed themselves in. But that's it really. There you go. Replacing the brakes and pads and discs on a Land Rover Discovery 3.